Have you ever wondered what happens when AI stops just, answering your questions and actually starts doing your job? Welcome back to The Explainer. We're jumping right in today because there is a massive, seismic shift happening in the tech space right now. We are officially moving away from basic, passive AI tools, and instead we're deploying full, action-taking agent company hierarchies. If you've been trying to figure out how this sci-fi-sounding tech actually gets deployed to run a profitable business, you are in the perfect place. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We're going to zoom in from the big macro concepts right down to a functioning, boots-on-the-ground AI company structure. We'll hit chatbots versus action agents, the technical setup wall, the 9-agent hierarchy, coordinating business tasks, and finally, the 60-second agency stack.
Starting off with Section 1, Chatbots versus Action Agents.
Right now, there's a hard dividing line in the industry. On one side, we have chatbots. They give you information, right? They answer questions, they summarize text, they chat. But on the other side of that line, we have AI agents. Agents take action. They don't just tell you how to update a customer record, they literally log into your system and update the record themselves. They send the confirmation emails, flag overdue accounts, and securely book appointments. One simply talks, the other actually executes. And honestly, that shift from talking to executing is completely redefining what businesses expect from software.
To really anchor this concept in our minds, let's look at this quote straight from our source material. A chatbot is like calling a company and reaching a recording that reads the menu to you. An AI agent is the actual employee on the other end. Think about that for a second. It picks up the phone, listens to your problem, and gets things done in the real world before you're even done explaining what you need. It's the difference between an interactive FAQ page and a highly capable digital employee.
And look, this isn't just theoretical tech talk. Businesses are actively writing massive checks for this right now. Dental practices are dropping anywhere from $800 to $2,000 a month on outreach automation. Law firms, they're willingly paying $3,000 a month for AI research tools. Medical offices are spending $2,000 every single month just to automate their front desks. Why are they paying so much? Because replacing a human desk worker, someone who, takes vacations, gets sick, and has to sleep, with a flawless system that runs 24/7 is worth 10 times that amount to their bottom line. The demand is already here.
Which brings us to Section 2, the technical setup wall. If the demand is sitting right here, actively writing checks, you've got to ask, why isn't absolutely everyone doing this? Well, the answer is what we call the setup wall. Getting highly capable open-source systems like OpenClaw, NanoClaw, or Claude Code running the traditional way is brutally difficult. You've got Docker installation to deal with, you need to know complex terminal commands, you have to manage virtual private servers, wrangle finicky API keys, and put in hours of mind-numbing configuration. Just imagine a highly motivated, non-technical business owner staring at a black screen filled with lines of code, completely frustrated. That's the current reality for most people trying to access this tech.
Because of those massive barriers, we see this staggering number, 95%. That is the documented failure rate for people who try to manually set up open source agents. They try, they slam into that technical setup wall, and they never actually get it working. But the crucial thing to understand here is that the technology itself isn't broken. The tech works beautifully once it's running. The problem is the bridge to access it. The barrier to entry is just way too high for the average user.
Let's move to Section 3, the 9-agent hierarchy. This is where we see exactly how to bypass that setup wall entirely.
To solve this problem, a deployment layer called ArtificialIntelligence was developed. It bypasses the servers and terminal commands with a simple one-click deployment. But what it actually builds for you, that's where the magic happens. You aren't just getting software, you're getting a digital corporate ladder. At the very top, you have one CEO agent. Its only job is high-level strategy. Underneath the CEO are 3 manager agents. These are your workflow coordinators. They take that broad vision and break it down into actionable steps. Finally, those managers hand the steps down to 5 worker agents. These are the specialists who actually execute the granular, day-to-day tasks. It's a literal, structured digital workforce.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that these workers aren't blank slates that you have to teach from scratch. Out of the box, all 9 agents arrive loaded with 15 live capabilities. They're already connected to Gmail and Google Docs. They can do real, unsimulated web browsing. They're equipped for SEO research, social media monitoring, and PDF creation. They even have webhook support, meaning they can talk to other applications seamlessly, and cron job scheduling that basically acts like an automated digital alarm clock, telling the agents exactly when to wake up and perform repetitive tasks.
And to make managing this whole workhorse actually practical, the entire hierarchy is pre-linked to channels you already use natively: Telegram, WhatsApp, Discord, and Slack. This is a huge deal. Why? Because you don't need to log into some clunky new dashboard to manage your AI. You can literally pull out your phone and text your AI workforce via WhatsApp, assigning them tasks just as naturally as if you were texting a human employee.
So, Section 4, Coordinating Business Tasks. Let's ground this digital corporate ladder in a real-world application.
Let's look at how this coordination plays out for a solo consultant setting this up for a local HVAC company. A new customer lead comes in through the web intake form. Instantly, one of the manager agents intercepts it. The manager reads the context, realizes this is a scheduling request for a broken AC unit, and immediately delegates the task down to a worker agent specialized in calendars. That worker cross-references the available time slots and replies to the customer in seconds to lock in the appointment. Meanwhile, another manager agent is overseeing the billing side, instructing a different worker agent to automatically send out reminders and chase unpaid invoices at the end of the week. They are constantly talking to each other, dividing the labor and executing.
And what's the result of that flawless coordination? The HVAC owner completely stops spending their evenings at the kitchen table catching up on admin work. The consultant who set this up charges a flat, real monthly retainer, and the client happily renews every single month because the value is completely measurable in saved time and captured leads. And the absolute best part? To achieve this entire automated workflow, neither the business owner nor the consultant touched a single line of code.
That brings us to our final section, the 60-second agency stack. So here's the key strategy that makes providing these HVAC-style solutions so scalable. This 60-second agency stack is the sequence of deploying a live, fully functional agent system first and selling the results second. Instead of spending weeks building complicated infrastructure just to put together a theoretical proposal, you walk into the room with a deployed 9-agent system already running. You show the client exactly how it handles their specific emails. You aren't pitching, you're demonstrating. And as anyone in sales knows, live demonstrations close much faster than slide decks and promises. Furthermore, this approach is future-proof, which is basically the holy grail for any agency. Because this deployment layer sits on top of open-source platforms, it isn't locked into one specific AI engine. We all know the AI landscape changes practically weekly, right? As stronger, faster open-source models inevitably emerge, you deploy them through the exact same one-click system. Your capability literally grows automatically with the technology. This means your agency stack stays permanently relevant without ever forcing you back into the terminal to learn a new coding language. I want to leave you with this thought. Every local plumber losing lucrative leads after hours, every real estate agent manually texting inquiries late into the night, they already know they need AI. They're reading the exact same headlines we are. The only question they have left is, who will they trust to deliver it to them? The gap between the early movers who show up with a live functioning system today and those who wait to feel technical enough to start is widening every single month. Will you be the one to bridge that gap? Thanks for exploring this with me today on The Explainer.